And hello, everybody. It's glad to see you all here. And I know Leah's going to leave early, so we're going to let her start out once I tell you what I want to tell you. As I learn more about technology, I'll introduce that to you, but it is really your choice if you choose to use it. But as I see and read things, technology is going to be what is going to move whatever you're doing forward. So for me, at the age that I am, I'm 65, and I'm used to having a phone that is attached to the wall. So I'm excited about being able to walk with a phone in my hand. This is amazing. And you can see how much we have forwarded ourselves with the new technology. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and all the other social media is what's going to propel your book and the opportunities to share your vision, whether it's a product, whether it's coaching, or whatever it is. Technology is going to be what it is. So if you're having some reservation about using technology, I want you to say that your success is on the other side of that. So start doing it even though you're not necessarily 100% comfortable. You will make mistakes, but it's through those mistakes that you're going to learn and become your own advocate for promoting whatever it is that you want to do. So Leah, I just want to say, even with your 15 minutes of whatever amount of time, you are on top of it, girl. You are on fire. And I like the way that you applaud and encourage all of us. And it's encouraging to me to see that you're just jumping in feet first. You're the first one to do this. You're asking questions and you're getting it done. You're getting it done.
Thank you.
For those of you who have not submitted anything, my total book that I was supposed to have with me at all times. Paul, did you have your book yet?
It just came in about an hour ago. Yes, I have
it. Well, my total book is 31,000 words. So if you multiply 500 words times 8 weeks, you're going to have more words than you need. So that it really comes out. If you had the link of my book, I don't want to hang that up because I know they'll probably give me a message and I want them to just leave a message. You're going to have more than enough words, but I wanted you to have enough words that you can scratch out. For example, the ands and the thes and the redundancy. So you're going to have enough words if you just want the amount of words I have in my book. You are going to have sufficient amount of words. And those word count does not count the songs, the scriptures. It doesn't even include that. So that's like 4 different pages. That's just something totally different. Okay, there is no PowerPoint. If necessary, I will go to YouTube. Hey, Francisca. If I need,
hi everyone.
I'm great. If I need to, we'll go and look at the Facebook page, but what we have outlined is there. So what you're supposed to have tonight is whatever you have. So Leah, tell me what are your concerns, issues, questions, whatever you want us to know. Just share it out to the group. And thank you for your dedication page.
Oh, thank you. I think right now one of the big things that I'm going to have to do is do, like you said, the research and go search out the other books and take a look at what they have in terms of content and, ideas of what I think that, they might be missing that I could add to. I've gotten like 2 of my, from last week, I kind of changed my approach to it. So last week I was kind of starting out as a self-help book, self-empowerment, but I was really having trouble writing. So what I still want to have it in that light, but it's going to be more of resiliency and talking about my stories and the things that I overcame, and hopefully people then can see how they too can overcome, and it can be a self-help in that direction. And so a couple of my stories I'm getting in there. I still have other stories to put in there, but I just really want to go and, like you say, see how some other books are structured and set up to know if I feel I'm on track and what else I could cover. So that is going to be a thing that I'll be doing this week. So I still hope, obviously, to write and get words down and stories down and part of the book, but some time is going to have to be spent doing a little research as well.
Mm-hmm. So based upon what I hear and understand and what I know about Lisa Nichols tells us the more transparent you are, the more intriguing your delivery is going to be, because we want to know that this is an authentic person. This is something that actually happened, or some expectation or disappointment, and how did you overcome it? So you can think about her and Jelani when he was a baby and she went to the teller machine and she only had $10.11, but she needed 20. Obviously the Pampers did not cost $10.11, but she couldn't even get that. So as you're telling whatever it is that you want to tell, if it's possible, try to let me see it. Because when Lisa tells that story about Jelani, I see my son going, oh my gosh, I didn't even have the $10.11, so I can truly relate. So you want it to be something, this is just my opinion, that would make me want to read it. That this is something that someone can relate to. In my case, my mother, oh yeah, I can see your mother having these foul words coming out of her mouth when she's such a sweet lady. Yeah, I can relate to that. So make it relatable. That would be what I would like to offer to you. And I would say, if you can, you seem to be at a point where you can actually start sending me a larger amount of something. And then before next week, we can work on embellishing it so that you can get the feel of what, not so much of what I think for you, but my way of receiving what it is that you write. It's obviously going to be what you write. Okay.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you so much. And again, thank you for encouraging everybody, including me. I mean, you are just on top of it, and I really do appreciate that.
Okay. You're welcome. And thank you to everyone for commenting on things too. I totally appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I wanted Leah to go first.
Guys, sorry I'm late.
We didn't even get late. Don't even mention it. Just ease on in.
It was spinning and spinning and spinning. I don't know what was going on. Sorry.
Well, we're happy that you're here. Okay, so I'm asking everyone else to share what it is that you want us to know, and then we'll talk about, Leo, you may just see what homework is. Homework is going to come out of what we don't cover tonight, but I've already posted what you're going to be doing in week 2 on the website. But I will add more. And if you have questions about what I said is going to be homework, then you can ask that too. Okay, anyone who wants to go next? Or because I will just be reading from the Facebook page what I said we would be doing in week 2. But I want to know if you have your stresses for week 1. What is it that I can help you? How can I support you? How can the team support you? And as I said, some of you may not even have a dedication page. If you do the research, you will find that it is not necessary to have a dedication page. Okay, but an hour is going to go very quickly. And there are some things that I want to share as well. Oh, thank you for your dedication page. It was very good. It was short, but it was very good. I didn't see anything that I would change. There may have been one word, but I just didn't even take the time to change it. And I think it needed an ED or an S or something on it. But it was not anything significant. And you may change it, but at least you do have one. Because when we get to the end, I don't want either of you to stress, oh my gosh, I don't have my dedication page. But you do have one that is suitable. Okay?
All right, thank you.
And how has this week shown up for you?
Well, this week has been, it started off good initially. I mean, the writing was great. I was doing maybe 1,000 to 2,000 words a day.
Woo-hoo!
And then I started getting busy with work. So I'm just doing a lot of courses that I need to do before I actually start officially start at work. So I've been really busy with that, and I've just been trying to write as much as I can. So like some days I find I'm writing maybe 500, 600 words, not as much as I was doing earlier on, but
Mhm.
I'm just still trying to keep up with everyone and refer to the group as much as I can. So yeah, everyone's been pretty helpful though.
Okay. And remember, I used yours as an example when you recorded for 1.5 minutes or something. And I looked at the word count and it was over 500. So you can see if you just talk into your computer for 2 minutes, you're going to have your 500 words. Again, the 500 words is kind of like the standard, so that when you start to take out those unnecessary words, well, I was just thinking about putting this in, those words count too. You won't put that in your writing, but it helps with that process. And when you get down to week 8, if it takes you that long to write, you will have more than enough words for a book. You'll have to do some of the things that Leah is going to start doing once you have a big piece of meat to use, something to work with. But if you're not accustomed to writing, then I just need you to get accustomed to writing. Okay? So you're doing a phenomenal job. And if you're getting hung up on the 500 words a day, don't think about 500 words a day. Just go ahead and write or record or however you are going to get your words onto paper. And the sooner you can start sending me something, I can look at it and give you my thoughts, and everyone else can give you their thoughts, and then you can choose whatever you want. If you want to accept what someone suggests, then do. If you don't. That's a part of research as well. Thanks, Paul.
Right. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, guys, you know that hour will go very quickly. So jump in whenever you want to. I don't know. I can't help you any more than you allow me to help. So if I don't have anything in my hand, I can't give you what I don't have. So I can just talk a little bit more about my book. But I love to write. I love to. Yes.
Okay. Did you get my dedication page? I put it up about an hour ago.
Okay. Well, I didn't read anything after whatever 6:30. I didn't read anything, but I will read it. So tell me about it.
Well, I basically thank my friends and my family. They're my biggest supporters of whatever I want to do, and of course, I thank God for the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept kind of short and sweet. I may add more to it later, but that's basically it in a nutshell.
Okay, great. And again, what I'm saying, Michelle, is there are some things that I'm asking you to do, like you will now write your back page, because when you finish your book, it will be time to put it together, and you need to have all of these things in place. If you're going to have a dedication page, you need to have a dedication page. If you're going to have back matter, I couldn't think of what I want on my back matter. And if you're not sure what back matter is, start looking at books that you probably already have at home and see what people are writing on the backs of their book. I wrote a prayer on the back of my book because I was done. I didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't want to look at anyone else's back matter, and a prayer was sufficient for me.
Okay.
Now you've got your dedication page. You may not be able to do an introduction page week 2, but by week 3, you should be able to have an introduction page. And the introduction page should capture your vision of what your book is about. Some of you may not know what your book is going to be about in totality now. So an introduction may not really fit, but by week 3, you should be able to write an introduction to your book. And my introduction was to introduce you to Mother, which was what I was talking about all along. And so we'll go from there.
I did an introduction page today.
Okay.
Because since I'm talking about Genesis, I gave some historical facts and, just some general background about the book of Genesis, so that if someone has never read the Bible before, is not familiar, and then of course each book may have different authors and so forth and so on. And so I talked about that. And also, because I called God Elohim, I gave a definition of what that meant. Because in the Hebrew, that's what God means.
Okay.
And so I didn't want to just use God, God, God.
Right.
So I
Right.
wanted to change it up.
Mhm.
And so that was helpful for me to kind of lay a foundation. And then I have chapter 1, chapter 2. I got chapter 2 done pretty much today.
Okay.
And so
If you have some completed work, I don't mind reading completed work and giving you my feedback. But the closer we get, and we're a long ways away from week 8, but the closer we get to week 8, I won't be reading everything because I still have what I do. And
right.
I'm just trying to give value added to the process that you all are going through. And
Okay.
I want to say something. Francisca, you have just an amazing way with words. I just love the way that you put things together. And I use something that you said about a tear in the eye. I mean, I could just see the tear in someone's eye, you know, in something that you posted and only really, you just have a unique way of using words. And what I mean by that, there's only so many ways you probably can refer to God. But yes, if we can hear it as something else, sometimes it won't be so pronounced. But if you're not a person who, and I love words, I just love visuals. Like I can just see something immediately when someone is speaking, and it goes back to what Lisa Nichols said: don't tell me, show me. Show me what it is. What is it like to be in that type of pain that your eyes are just so full of water? It's like a flood is coming through. Those are just my words. But you can see that someone is just so heartbroken that they can't even see how to drive because of the flood of tears and, you know, that type of whatever. So all of that is really good. Paul, I read but don't change it now, but your dedication page, you're dedicating it to all the people who are going through something. And well, yeah, we're going through something. I'm going through something to get food on the table, but I don't think that's what you're
Right.
talking about. You're talking about something that's a little more like, wow, it's a struggle. I think that's what you're saying. The sacrifices that someone has made, but I don't necessarily see that. I just read it, but you want to grab me like, oh my gosh, yes, that happened to me. That happened to my brother, my sister, my mama, and that sort of thing. And Leah, yours is really good. I made comments. Yours is really good. I could really see your son and how inspiring he is to you, and what it means to have a child like yours. I could really feel and sense that. Michelle, yours may be a little more difficult because it's more scripture based, I think. And my father's a minister, but I don't think I would be changing much of yours because I don't know I wouldn't know how, but I'm sure it's going to be a great piece of writing that we're going to enjoy. Okay, Francisca, you're up. Someone else is here, but I don't know who because it's just a spot. But Francisca, welcome, Francisca.
Oh, I can't use it. Oh, wait, no, man.
Oh, you're muted. Francisca, you're muted. You're still muted. You're still muted, Francisca. I'll see if I can unmute you. I can't unmute you, so you'll have to unmute yourself, Francisca. There.
Okay. Yeah, so my book process is a bit complicated. I have 2 books that I'm writing. I'm trying to write in parallel because my stories are all in one script with 60,000 words. I wrote already.
Okay.
But it was not publishable. So I'm extracting what I need for one topic now because I'm kind of clear. And then the book that I want to write in this group is Mother, Behold Thy Son.
Mm-hmm.
It may change because my thoughts keep changing, but the main message that I would like the world to share with the world is the power of a mother and how it's not fully recognized or is being fully utilized to teach our sons to jettison toxic masculinity.
Oh, man.
So the mother is a teacher. The mother is a nurturer. And if we are going to tackle the issue of unequal gender relations and not involve a mother, we will not get down to the root. So I believe it starts in the home And from there, we can begin to think about boys and girls being equal. I have an experience. My son is actually in this group, and I have 2 girls. I only have 1 son.
Mm-hmm.
I speak from a mother's experience of raising the 3 of them
Mm-hmm.
as equal as I could, given my background. So
Okay.
I feel like there's enough going on teaching girl children and preparing them for equality.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm scared for my son. I'm scared for my son in this time of Me Too. I'm scared for my son in this time of inappropriate touching. And I do not want to see any woman raise a finger, raise an issue to say my son did that to her.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't teach him, someone is going to do that to my son.
Mm-hmm.
More than that, I also have girl children. If we don't teach all sons to treat women with dignity,
Mm-hmm.
then the dream of being equal, we can forget about it.
Right.
So I have a big dream. I know it's a tall order, but my message, what I want to be known for, is that at least I played a part in disrupting patriarchy, because I am a product of patriarchy. I'm not a victim, I'm a victor, but I overcame being chained to patriarchy, being in the clutches of patriarchy. I am free. That's why I want to use my voice to free my son, to free other sons, to free mothers. I think I'm done.
Okay. Well, there are 2 things that I want to say about that, and this is not to be disrespectful, and I hope that everybody will receive it. It's similar to Mother Behold Their Child. If your child is a person of color and it's a male child, you know, there's so many disparities that goes on here in America that if we don't necessarily teach our boys, our young men, how to respond to things, it doesn't mean to diminish yourselves, but it is not equal, but there is a way that you can approach certain things. Second thing I want to say is, of course, I'm going to be with Lisa. And if you can put that Mother Behold Thy Son in some type of a snippet that I could just give to her and let her see that. I don't know if you know JP, he was from, I guess, somewhere in Europe, but it is because of JP that she is in Dubai. He was doing a presentation. He's, do you know who he is?
Mm-mm.
Okay,
No.
he's in our group, and he has an accent.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so he introduced, let's just say Dubai to Lisa Nichols, and that's why she's over there. So if I can take Mother Behold Our Son, Behold Our Child, give her something in the times when we're having our conversation, something a little more tangible, something more brilliant than what I could speak for you, doesn't mean she's going to say, woohoo, and it doesn't say that she's going to say nay, 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 but she'll have a little bit more of a vision of what I would like her to know about you and how she might be able to help shape, deliver, or whatever that word, even if it comes to you in the form of her doing one of her daily speeches to the people, to us. You understand? So if you can put something like that together, I think that would be fantastic. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
okay, so I think that must be, who was that just popped up? Tara. Tara, your name isn't here, but I think that is you that I know someone else is here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Okay, so we're listening to, how are you, how did you receive this past week? What can we support you? How can we support you?
I think I received the week pretty well. I think I've been staying committed to the time in the morning. I seem to have a better schedule in the morning.
Okay.
So when the weekend came, my schedule is different. So the weekend I wasn't like up early writing, so it ended up getting moved to maybe somewhere around 11 or 12.
Okay. And remember, the main thing was just to commit to something. It does. I was just giving you all some parameters that I know if you have a system, and you work that system, it may not be as much as you want, but it will work. Like before I get up in the morning, 99% of the time, I am thanking God for being able to get up. And sometimes when I just have to go rush to someplace else, I don't get to say thank you, but I'm saying thank you. But just have a system and you'll see that you will accomplish so much. And I don't know if you were here, Charles, when I said that my book is only 31,000 something number of words. So if you multiply, do the math, 500 times 8 weeks every day, you're going to have well over 31,000. This allows you the opportunity to remove those extra words, ands, thes, repeated words, and things like that. So don't stress yourself over, you didn't get quite 500. And I think you've always exceeded the number that you needed anyway. So that's a plus for you. So you're well on the way. And as soon as you all can start sending me something to look at, then I will start reading it. But the closer we get to 8 weeks, I know I will not be able to preview your work in any amount of detail because of the other things that I'm committed to doing as well. But I want all of you to feel extremely successful, and I want to support you in any way that I can. And finally, I was just restating that technology is the way to go. You will all be self-publishers, and the more you start talking about your book, like a lady came to my house today, I'm a United Health whatever insurance. I'm like, well, why are you all coming? But she said, it's a precaution that they do. So after she did this, I was just telling her about my book. And I said, and I'd be happy to autograph, I'm like, and I'd be happy to autograph you a copy. And she said she'd love to have a copy. Oh, great. So she got her copy. I had my copy, but I knew my book as well. So the more you talk about your book, even now before it is a realization, when it becomes that reality, it will just come just like owning your brilliance when you're now talking more, and it's much easier to just get on there and talk. You'll be amazed, at least I'm amazed at her buying the book, but I expect most people that I ask, it's a feeling that you get. I had that feeling that she probably would say yes. Okay. All right. So
I have a question.
Yes.
When you start to look at, you said you wanted to kind of look at some of what we have. What do you want it in its rough state, or do you want us to have, like, at this point, kind of edited what we've done for the first week?
Well, probably more of an edited as to, or if you need help with, does this thought even make sense? Or, you tell me what you need from me, and then I try to provide it. But if you just record it from YouTube and you have the numbers beside it and you've just taken out the numbers, no, I don't need that, because that's me trying to cipher out what you actually mean. Just take out what isn't necessary, rephrase it, and you'll see that it will start to come together. You might move a paragraph from here, from the first page to the second paragraph on the third page or something like that, depending on how many pages that you have. And if you have my book, you'll see that my little stories are really short. They're just moments in time.
Mm-hmm.
But that is the type of book that I wrote. Mine's might be different from Francisca's. I don't really know until I actually see something. But you could put the time when I talk about my mother and myself in the car. That could have been the first thing I talked about. Mm-hmm. Or the last thing I could talk about was her meeting my father. So mine doesn't have an order. It's not like a historical piece.
Okay.
Of work.
And do you want it by email when you look at it?
If you don't mind, because the more people that you have looking at it, because we are all going to give you a review.
Okay.
And you want to have your reviews out there almost as soon as you get your book published. You want your review.
No, I meant when you take a review on it, when you look at it, when we send it to you.
Well, I want it in the same form that everybody's going to look at it. You're going to post it in Facebook, but I will respond to you privately so as not to influence other people's thought, because you get like, oh, well, she was thinking that, and who knows what you're really thinking.
Okay. So upload it as a file.
Yeah, you would just upload it as a file.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Priscilla, I have a question.
Yes, Francisca.
I didn't hear you clearly. Your first statement about African American sons or something. So I was trying to listen and understand, but I think you spoke fast and I didn't get the point.
Well, you see, and for example, if you follow the news, this is however long ago in Florida. This was just this young boy. He was walking in the neighborhood. He didn't live there, but he wasn't bothering anyone. But this white guy, for lack of knowing how to say it, shot him because he was in the neighborhood and he didn't necessarily belong there. And so, Black mothers here in America, like my son, like I'm always like, Edwin, he is in Alabama. My son lives in Alabama, but you may know nothing about Alabama, but that is like, because it's public, it's a place that you really need to be careful if you are a person of color, and you're Black, and you are a male. You need to be careful. There's a certain way that, yes, you should be able to wear anything that you want to wear. But if you're wearing a hood, it suggests something else. It suggests gangster. But my son's not a gangster, and he doesn't really wear hoodies. So, mother beholder, it's the things that a lot of women of color, it seems that, I don't know, but so many of us are single parents. And it is not easy as a single female to raise a male because they may be soft. But I can't raise my son as a male because I'm not a male and I am a nurturer. So I enlisted my brother and my dad to help raise my son, let them spend time with them. But one thing my son does have as an advantage is that his father is Nigerian, who is really, hold the reins real tight. So he does have a lot of structure embodied in him because of who his father is and what he stood for. But there are so many other male boys who are at a disadvantage for many reasons.
Yeah. So I speak from that experience as an African mother who is single, who raised a son mostly by herself. And I'm saying, when we are done raising sons, whether the father is there or not, for me, is not an issue because I didn't have that luxury. What do I want to see when I'm done nurturing, when I'm done with my job as a mom? And then create a movement around healing the female for what has happened to us, for us not to have the fathers in the home and them running scot-free and not doing what they should be doing. So we are saying we can mourn the presence of a man, but at the end of the day, we are stuck with the responsibility of making sure that we raise that gentleman, regardless of the fact that the father is there or not. We have to raise sons that people are going to look like Lisa did.
Yes.
Well, I can boast right in this group to say like I did with that boy over there, because I'm proud of him. The neighbors talk about him where he stays. They ask me, what did you do to him? That makes me proud. Exactly. That's what I want to share. Because something went right with him and me. And the father didn't have to be there.
And a lot of it, in my opinion, when I see what the son that I have, who I'm so proud of, and I'm sure everyone else is proud of their daughters, but I'll just have a son. It is, for me, it was the sacrifices that I was willing to make. As a single parent, there was no dating while I was raising my son. I didn't have time for any of that. I just needed to make sure that he was safe, stable, and had a focused mind. When he was doing homework, I was doing homework. When he was doing basketball or the military thing, I was doing it right there with him. Like I wanted to go to sleep so much. But Ma, I got to go to practice. Who's going to take him to practice? Me. Who's going to pick him up from practice? Me. So I was willing to make sure that he had every chance to become who he is today. And he travels the world. He is an engineer for Honda, and he does really good. And he lives in Alabama, and he's got stuff that, people of color don't generally have. But and he mixes well. He mixes well with everybody. He just has that personality. And so sometimes I'm sure I just believe that Lisa made so many sacrifices along the way to make sure that Jelani had what he needed to have to develop into who he has become today. So that was kind of like what I'm saying. But if you can just maybe give me a snippet. I mean, it could be just, Lisa, I'm in this tribe, because she embraces and endorses us to encourage us to have our tribe and share and elevate each other. And if I can share something with her, like, Lisa, you have got to hear the story. I mean, I'm just anticipating from our meeting yesterday that we are going to have our time with Lisa, because we're going to have to serve her. She wants to know how she can serve, how can she be of service to me? And you are in my tribe, and I want to know how can I best serve you so that you can be in a better position to go out and do what you do, because we're like that. Michelle, you can tell me somewhere in the Bible it talked about separate the shaft from the something. When you start shaking that stuff out, everything might not fall out, but the good stuff is going to fall out, and that's what you're going to use.
Absolutely. The Bible says that only God is going to separate the wheat from the chaff.
Okay.
He's the only one. They have to, they're raised up together. And so at his appointed time, he does the separation. And so we as believers have to understand that whatever it is that we're doing, we just got to do what we do and let God deal with the rest of it, and all the negativity and the doubt and the fear, all that has to go, because it's part of our experience as life. Absolutely. And I love Francisca's ideal, her book theme. I really think it's exciting. You're telling the story from a mother's perspective, and there's a lot of single women, myself included. I have a daughter. I didn't have a son. I have grandsons who are totally different, from my daughter and my granddaughter. And so this story needs to be heard, especially, I believe, here in America, because there's too much fear. Too much anxiety. There's too much stress. And, of course, as single parents, we all make sacrifices. But the values and the morals that we put into our children that determine who we are as adults. And too often people think that they're raising children, when my philosophy was I was raising an adult. And so when you raise that child to have a voice, when you raise that child to have their own opinion, their own thoughts, when you raise them to make good decisions, even, of course, they do make bad decisions, but the premise is you don't always think they're little. You think that at some point, someday, they're going to be an adult, and have I given them and equipped them for life when I'm not there, when I'm dead and gone, as well as once they become an adult and live on their own. And so I love your book. I think it's fabulous.
Like, we're ready to read it today. Okay, Thembi, let's hear from you. How are things going? How can we support you? And how have you received ad from week 1?
How have I received what? I didn't hear you.
How have you received what you've heard today? How did you receive week 1? And how can we support you today? So when I say how have you received, what do you think about what you've heard? What are your thoughts? What do you want to add?
Ooh, that's a very loaded question. So,
questions. What it is.
They're all very, very loaded. And so,
Thembi, we can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Here, can you hear me now, Michelle?
Yes.
Okay, I'll hold it up to my mouth. Those are very, very loaded questions, in which I will not answer those.
Okay.
I'm actually doing well. I have most of this book written, which I said when I came into this project. I am in the middle of writing a part 2 to a story that is already written.
Okay.
So my issue with writing this part too is that I need a little bit of, as you indicated, research. And so I've reached out to a couple of friends of mine who are in the quote unquote lifestyle to kind of help me with some details and with some role playing or some scenes. But for me right now is just kind of sitting down and actually writing. So I'm doing a little bit of 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, because it's almost done.
Right.
And then utilizing, Nicole had given me and Michelle a technique of, and I shared it in the Facebook group, of using your phone to like actually talk and write the story or write whatever you're writing using your voice basically, and then transcribing that whenever you have a moment. So I'm using that. So when I think about it or when I have something that comes up, just using my voice recorder and say, oh, I have something, let me write that down. And then when I get back to it, I can transcribe it. But at this point, I'm kind of like, great, because to be honest, I know my topic is very, very off the beat from everybody else's. So I'm kind of really good. I'm great. I'm just here to support everyone else and to kind of listen and get ideas. And if anybody has questions for me, I'm here to support everybody else.
Okay. Well, I want to beg to differ. I think all of our topics are different. So
you understand my topic is at the far, 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 far left from everybody else's here. So much so that I have made a decision that I will not post my writing for folks to read. I have some white papers that I will post that are much more academic. But as far as my book that I am writing, I am not going to share those for folks. I will post other writings though.
And that's totally up to you. But I want to, I question your thinking. Who's going to, if you have an audience that's here that can read your book?
Absolutely.
And
you all are not, you stated a question or you made a comment initially when I joined this group.
Yeah.
And you had stated, who are you writing for? Who is your niche? And to be very honest with you, no one in this group is my niche. So there's no need for you all to read it. So as I said,
can I ask a question?
You sure can. You can ask whatever you like.
Okay. No, I'm sorry, hon. I'm on a call. Could you refresh what your book is about? Because if I'm not mistaken, I may not be your niche. However, the line of work that I'm in, it may have relevance. So if you could just refresh me.
Well, let me ask you first. What line of work are you in?
I work in child welfare, but I work with a lot of adolescents.
Okay. Again, my work may not be for your adolescents. I write about sex and sexuality, but it runs the entire gamut of sex and sexuality. And so I don't know if I stated this.
Would it cover issues related to transgender or anything like that, or no?
Yes, it will. It will.
Okay.
I have not written a piece yet on transgenderism or a fantasy about transgender. Most of my work, as I have seen, excuse me. So let me go back a little bit. I have my blog, and I know Dr. Priscilla has posted my blog in the group. But I also post on another platform called Vocal Media, where folks can view my work, and per each click, I get like a half of a penny or whatever. And so what I noticed when I post, that most people are interested in my fantasies that I write. So now I'm seeing what the niche actually is and what people want to see. That doesn't mean that I've stopped writing white papers and academic work. It's just more of now where my focus is on is writing the fantasies, which is why I said, I'm not going to post any of that here, even though that is the crux of my book, which has always been my book, is about sexual fantasies. But I do have, like I said, I have a white paper written about my reproductive journey. I have a white paper written about the lack of sex education in the Christian church. Actually, Michelle has that paper right now sitting in her email box. Hopefully she's ready. We can talk about it.
I will read it tonight. I just need some time.
Okay. I have a white paper on how do you have sex after you have kids? How do you maintain?
That one's a good one right there. That one right there is a mouthful.
Thank you. How do you have sex, maintain a sex life with your spouse or your partner after you have kids? But the majority of the work that I have written, because this is what I've seen people enjoy and want and ask for, are sexual fantasies.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, that's what the book is about. And the book is totally based on the blog. So, Ms. Hall, if you feel like that is something that your clients would be interested in, I'm all for talking with you about utilizing the book. But I am very, very, very strict on, I do not write for minors. Again, I have an Instagram account that is connected to my blog, and I'm very, 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 very strict on, my blog is not for anyone that is 18 and under. It is totally for adults 18 and over. And if I could have it for 21 and over, I would. I do not write for minors. I do not write, I don't write anything about pedophilia. I don't write anything about bestiality. I don't write those things. This is strictly for adults.
So where can I find your white papers?
They're on my blog. Everything is
and that's the
posted on my blog.
vocal.
Yes. No.
Oh.
Pussycatchats with an S.com. Dr.
Okay.
Priscilla has it posted on the
Okay, I'll take a look.
group. Unless
All
it's taken down, but if
No.
not,
No, I didn't take it down.
okay, it's still there. But
Okay,
just
thank
like
you.
it's spelled, pussycatchats.com.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And
Cindy,
again, my thoughts are the tribe is just here to support everybody. What I had said is that, and I'm still old school. I mean,
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't even drink. Well, I don't drink, but if I did drink, I wouldn't drink in front of my parents because it's just like, this. And so when I was reading, and I'm sitting and I'm reading by myself, and I just felt I was just a little uncomfortable with how you can say I felt a little uncomfortable. It's just like, oh, really? But anyway, so that was what I was just sharing. But anyway, whatever we can do to support you, probably in week 4 is maybe will be when you start to get more out of where we are right now, but that's not where we are. But you still could write your dedication page, maybe if you want to. Maybe you're not even going to have a dedication page. So does anyone have their screen open to just look at what is to be talked about for week 2, so I can quickly tell you what I'm expecting in week 2? And everybody's doing great with the word count. As I said, Thembi, from day 1, your blog is already there. Your book is already there. You just need to just put it into the form of a book.
Well, that's what I'm working on now, is taking actually the blog and just moving things over into book format. I made a decision that I'm not going to have a dedication page.
Okay.
What I'm trying to do now, and I don't know if I said this in the group, is trying to make a decision if I'm going to write under a pseudonym or my actual biological name. That's something that I've been struggling with since I actually started this whole venture, was how I was going to present myself to the world. And so at this point, that's really what I've been struggling with. It's not the writing. I can write with my eyes closed. It's just really how I am going to present this to the public. Am I going to be, my pseudonym is Reaux, R-E-A-U-X, Tinkleflower. And that, I don't want to go into why I chose that last name, but am I going to be Reaux or am I going to be Dr. Carr Dobbs? I don't know yet. I haven't made a decision, but as of now, I'm still writing under a pen name. So
have you thought of putting you're going to use your picture? If you're going to use your picture on your book, then
that's the whole thing of, because if I use my pseudonym, I will not use a picture.
Okay.
If I use my biological name, then I may use a picture. So I don't know yet. I haven't made this decision. The crux of all this is protecting my family.
Right. Okay. Okay. Does anyone have I can go to it, the sheet for week 2, what we're doing in week 2? Or do I just need to, I'll just go get it and share it. So let me share my screen and go find it there. Now I'll have to take a minute and find it. I think I'm sharing my screen now. I'm looking for week 2. Week 2 is here. So in week 2, which is what most of you had today. It's a dedication page if you're doing one. Your margins, try to do your margins. These margins are going to change. It's just that it's easier for me to read it. Top and bottom left margin, 1 inch, double space, center and capitalize the dedication page. On page 4, those of you who have my book, I have a picture of my sister, but it's perfectly fine not to have a picture of someone that you're dedicating the book to. And then look at the size of my book. Is the size of my book about the size each of you are thinking of having, or did you think of something different?
I think it's a good size. I'm looking at it right now, actually.
Okay, so that's pretty much the standard size book. My book is we price our own book. I priced mine for $19.97 because part of the proceeds are going to go to Alzheimer's. That size book with 100 pages generally is about $14.97, and that will move your analytics up too if your books are priced.
This is Tara.
I'm sorry?
No, I'm sorry, that was my phone.
Okay, so but you can put whatever price you want on your book, and you can change it. You can put your book on sale. You can give your books away for free. But I would say, I cautioned myself about giving my book away for free. The ones that I gave to my family for free, I still don't have any reviews from but one of them. So I didn't see the value of giving my book away for free in return to get a review. I would rather suggest that you give a copy of your book to someone to read and ask for a review, which is what I'm going to ask you all to do, is for each of you to read each other's book so that you don't have to buy it. You can still buy it, but if you want a review, you most likely will get a review from the tribe as opposed to selling it to someone and then expecting them to read it, because they just don't do it, or that has been my experience. But that's a standard size book. You can charge, again, what you want with your book. 100 pages on the back, on the spine of my book. If I had 130 pages, I could have written Dr. Priscilla on the back of my book. But because I didn't have 130 pages, they didn't put Dr. Priscilla on the back of my book. So, but it was on the front, and I said I didn't want to write anymore. I didn't want to add anymore. I wanted to be done with the book. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Dr. Priscilla.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, where are these kind of standards at? Do you have them written out somewhere, or for things for us to know? I mean, I know what you put here, but
no.
You have like some things that are like standardized for writing a book that you could share with us.
Yeah.
I don't do well with Facebook. I'm being honest.
Okay.
I like paper and notes, and I like to be able to go to them, refer to them.
Okay.
And I see that I'm looking at your screen. You do have it so it can be downloaded, but I would prefer, this is just for future, something you to keep in consideration.
Okay.
That I would prefer to receive email.
Okay.
Documents, or one big gigantic file with everything in it that I need to know.
Right.
Because that's my learning style.
Okay.
And because I don't like bits and pieces, I don't keep up with papers well. That's not my thing. And so if I had a file with all those documents in it, I could just go to whatever page and refer to it. And that would work better for me. I can't speak for everybody else, but that's just my personal preference.
Yeah, I definitely understand exactly what you're saying. When in my math class, oh my God, you got this big book, and the teacher's telling the whole class this. No, I need you to let me come to the book, to the boys, show me. So we have our own learning style, and that's not a problem. As I'm putting it up here, I can certainly send it to you. As I go through, I don't know what I'm going to have for you for week 3. I will know what I'm going to have for you for week 3, because in week 3, I'll be going to Dubai. So I won't even be back until Tuesday. We can meet on Tuesday. We probably won't meet Tuesday because I won't be getting back home until late Monday night, and I don't know that I want to even be on the computer, but I will definitely send you what it is that I'm going to do. So after I look at the video that we're doing tonight, I'll look to see what I need us to be prepared for week 3, based upon what you've done up to this point. I don't have week 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I just know what the end product is going to be. In week 8, we're going to be creating a book. The book is going to be ready to be sent to Amazon to be published. But I will definitely send you an attachment. But it will be nothing more than what everyone else is getting, but I will send it to you this way. I probably would not do that in the future, but because this is just something that you're asking, I would definitely do that.
Well, I thank you, but I really, if I were you, I would consider that, because it's hard to keep up with one single document. I now have to make a file to put all this stuff in. Whereas if you send me a file, I have that file to immediately go to. And as an educator myself, everybody, learns differently, but definitely we all learn from reading and writing.
Right.
That's an absolute.
And you can mark on it. I understand.
Right. So
And
that's my point in saying that. Not as a criticism.
No. I don't. I'm not receiving it as a criticism, and it's just the same way that I uploaded it here. I'm going to just upload it to instant messages or something like that. So that's not a problem.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Let's see. So the next thing was, I was asking about the size of the book. This is the page, 100 pages. There's a standard number of pages. And the last thing is, if you're recording your voice, be sure to have your recording available in the next class, written in text, if you want me to look at it. If you don't want me to look at it, there's absolutely no reason for you to put it in the margins or anything. Because that is what an editor does. An editor does it for you. But since I'm just here and I have the time, I was going to peruse. But if anyone doesn't want your work read by me, that's perfectly fine. And we'll keep trucking along. Okay, so we're at the top of the hour. Any questions? Everybody clear on what is to be done for week 2? Yes?
Yes, I'm good.
Okay.
Dr. Priscilla, I had a question.
Yes, Paul.
So, as far as like writing, how many words would you say need to be in a chapter?
Well, if you look at my book, sometimes it's just 2 pages, a page and a half. It's just getting your complete thought out, Paul. It's not about the number of words.
Right.
I mean, you can, I really don't know, but I could quickly go to a page and see how many pages are on, like one of my shortest chapters. File. But you're going to be guided by what you want the individual to know. It could be 15 pages, it could be 4 pages. Again, take a look at what some other people are writing in the genre that you're writing, and then decide, let's see, where's my book? Well, it's taking me a little bit longer than I want to spend looking for my book.
Well, I have it right here. I could just check.
Well, that's true too. So you can see it's not that many words.
Right. Yeah.
So, Dr. Priscilla. When you said that you gave me feedback on my dedication page, I couldn't find it. Where is it?
It was only because it was just one word. It was just one word. But I think I sent it to you in instant messages, and maybe I didn't do anything.
Because I think I looked at it, but I didn't see anything.
Okay, let me see.
Like see any correction, or I don't know if I saw any feedback.
I don't think that this is Leah's. Open. Tara, is that Tara talking to me?
Yes, that was me. Yep.
This is your page, right? Is this your page?
I don't see what you're looking at.
Oh, showing it. Hold on. It was a very short something.
Yeah, it's very short.
How do I get to stop share and share? It was just one word.
Okay.
I just had, this is it. This book is dedicated to individuals. Is that yours?
Yes.
Okay, so I just had, and my correction, I think you might need to add the word a. While learning that success is one faith overlapping a
Oh, yes.
fear moment.
Yes.
Or maybe it was
Okay.
one. I don't know. It was something. Need to fear one moment at a time. Fear one moment at a time. Moment at a fear overlapping. I don't know. Somewhere in here.
Okay.
One faith overlapping something. I don't know. But you know what I said? If you send it to me on the day of class, I may not be able to do too much with it. But it was just that one word. It was fine.
Okay.
It was fine. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, Paul, did you get your answer? Did you get your answer? And I would also say, Paul, you don't have to have chapters. You don't have to have numbers on your page. You don't have to have numbers. You can just put in
I'll be doing it tonight.
whatever. So I probably would have done better not to put those as chapters and just had those as subheadings. But I was like doing it that way because that was how I started.
Right.
Okay, so that's week 2. Week 2 is going to be under your belt. I'll just receive whatever you wish to send, and we're on our way. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Thanks, Francisca, Michelle, Themby,
Thank you.
anyone else that is on the call. Have a good one. See you.
All right. Thank you.
See you in a bit.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, Tara, I didn't say bye, Tara. Now I see
That's
you.
all
Bye,
right.
Tara.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.